Okay, I just want everyone to know that you're the one who's always late. I mean, you can see something here from poor Gautam Ray saying, bruh, I'm up overnight since it's a Sunday. Finish this quick. I want to pass out. Don't pass out, Gautam. Just make sure you blame Mr. Bharat Sundaresan because he's the one who is late. Let's roll the bumper and get on with it. Yeah, Simvad there also saying, come on, Bharat, I know you're the one late for the show. Drying your hair takes time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Over and Out. Almost said good, bad, ridiculous, but Over and Out, where we sum up India's victory in the series 3-2 in the end. Let's just get straight into it, shall we, with our first delivery of the over. And it is anchoring from the top, of course. Yeah, huge talking point. Virat Kohli opening the batting with Rohit, and boy, didn't that work. And we spoke about this earlier in the series about, India's batting and having maybe too many anchors sort of there in that role. We spoke about Butler and about him finishing from the top. This really, I think, could change the dynamic of the India side. And it's interesting that Kohli has talked about now, opening a lot more for RCB as well. So that for me is really interesting, points to perhaps a different approach, because it does change things to have a player like Kohli who, it's not just that he's the anchor at the top, but he's able to, as we've said, shift gears so well. His dot ball percentage is so low. It's incredibly low. So he's able to keep things ticking along, even if the big scoring isn't happening. And that opening partnership, I mean, that set the entire game up, really.
You know what they say in limited overs cricket, you want your best batsman to face as many balls as possible. Well, that logic has been debated on and off over the years, especially in T20 cricket. When you are Virat Kohli, yeah, it makes so much sense to give him 20 overs because his greatest ability as a batsman, apart from the stroke play, is his ability to control an innings. And that's what he's done extraordinarily well across all formats. And if you give him 20 overs, if he bats at the top of the order, he can do that. He can really not just control his own tempo, but he can be out there when the rest, like Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, and Hardik Pandya, those guys walk out. I mean, what better position to be in than to captain a batting lineup while you're out there in the middle? He's tried it in the past with RCB, and I don't know how it hasn't always worked out. But yesterday he showed and he played the anchor role after the 10th over. He was 25 of 23 balls, whereas India was scoring at a strike rate of well over 9, close to 10. And it had a lot to do with the pace at which Rohit Sharma batted, and then of course the magic of Surya Kumar Yadav. So Surya Kumar Yadav, yes, we're not calling him anything else on this show. Yes. Thank you. So I think it was, it sets that batting lineup up nicely, and also you saw it allowed India to bowl or play an extra bowling option, which we've lamented about throughout the series, and we have been for a while. So yeah, it opens up so many opportunities. But Virat Kohli, like you said, he's already said he's going to bat there for RCB, and which should mean that think about it, right, Mel? Just 3-4 months ago, we were told that Virat and Rohit couldn't they couldn't even face each other. Now they're going to walk out to bat together, spend a lot of time with each other in the middle.
Brush each other's hair, all that sort of stuff. It's
all happening. It's all happening. The love is happening.
Yeah, and as is, like you say, it hasn't always worked out in the past. There may well be matches where it doesn't work out in the future, but I think it's a very, very exciting development for India. That is our first delivery. Second delivery of the day, Bhuvi. I can see Vikrat Singh there says, don't forget Bhuvi. He was exceptional and swung the match India's way. So no, we haven't forgotten Bhuvi. We probably could have talked about Bhuvi more. Am I allowed to say Bhuvi? I know you don't like it. I don't want to get that.
Fine, Bhuvi's fine. It's anyway. We're not going to take that word on this show. Yeah, Surya Kumar Yadav.
Like Bhuvi it's always been good, and of course
that's fine. That's great.
We've called him that for a long time. But yeah, his contributions throughout this, it's like he's back, and he's back in a big way. And his ability to open the bowling. I think he's a good option in a lot of different points. He's so reliable that I'm just personally just really glad to see him back and in the side.
Yeah, I mean, speak to the team management and they'll tell you that uh, the one thing they tell Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is he's left a lot of wickets when it comes to Test cricket on the tours of England, where he was not fully fit in 2018, in Australia and New Zealand last year, where the ball was doing stuff. So it's something that they're kind of disappointed that he's just broken down a few times, and it's meant that he's not been a regular member of the side because if you even go back to the Australia tour, there's so much talk about all these fast bowlers, new ball bowlers India are missing, but not many mentioned Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. And, he's been one bowler, Mel. There's so much talk about Ishant Sharma and how he is kept evolving. So is Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Think back to 4 years ago when they said that, oh, he was too slow. He added a yard of pace. Some say that might have led to his injuries later, but at least he did do that. And then there was this talk of, oh, he's only good with the new ball, he can't bowl in the death. And there were a couple of IPLs where he bowled Yorkers more consistently than any other bowler in the league, like Indian or overseas. And that's what made him so effective. And 2019 was a very good year for him in one-day cricket. But yeah, the injuries just kept catching up. And with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar back, you literally have your best white ball attack when Jasprit Bumrah comes back from his honeymoon, after he's back to playing cricket.
Yeah,
he will.
With Sanjay Banga. His honeymoon with Sanjay Banga.
Of course, yeah, I know. Sanjay Banga couldn't be batting coach, so he went and got married to Jasprit Bumrah. Oh, just a slip up from poor Mayank Agarwal. We have to spare him for that. And he had so much depth to this Indian attack, and he's now a senior bowler. He's 31. He's been around for a long time. Uh, great news for India. And now, if they weren't already spoiled for choices in their fast bowling department, Bhuvi's just thrown it out all over the place now. Like, tough being a selector right now.
Sure is. And just the control he has and his economy rate, you can't go past talking about his economy rate in that game. And that then I think comes back to his control as well. Our third delivery of today's over, England in a spin. Now, we talked about they got it right with their fast bowling in a couple of those games, that they won. And they absolutely nailed the lengths. They had that incredible pace. Now we find, in a couple of games, when that doesn't come off for them, what other options do they have? And we've spoken before about Chris Jordan and his place in the side, what their all-round bowling lineup looks, and what extra options of spin they might need to have ahead of that T20 World Cup. I know a lot of people talking about Moeen as well, and what a weird winter he's had and where he fits in the whole setup at the moment. He's now got an IPL to actually work on those things and show what he can provide. Liam Dawson has kind of been hanging around the England camp for a while as well. Is he up to bowling and those kinds of competitive matches in India? We don't really know, I think, yet. So that, I think, is probably an issue for England to have a look at, because there are times when if their fast bowlers are off, then they need to have those other options there.
Especially in the subcontinent. And my logic is pretty straightforward, Mel. You cannot have both Sam Curran and Chris Jordan in the same playing 11. Because just those two, yes, we always talk about having more bowling options, and we were like, this is T20 cricket, right? We were raving about how England are spoiled for bowling options just last week after they won a game. But the issue with Sam Curran and Chris Jordan is almost like, they say you can't chase the ball around, you can't set fields for bad bowling. Similarly, you can't just have Sam Curran in there.
It has, and that might be just an issue with some people who are there. I noticed Gautam saying England is better off playing one spinner. You could argue that as well. I think they're going to need other options around when we get to when is it? October. That's right. Speaking of which,
yes.
on to the fourth ball. Oh, there it is. October is a long way off. It's like you're reading our minds, our audience out there. It's brilliant. It's a long way off. Everyone getting really excited, saying, oh my gosh, are we seeing the two finalists of the T20 World Cup here? I mean, what do we really know this far out, Bharat?
And this is T20 cricket. How many times have we said that? And I cannot believe that people are saying, oh, India and England are the best two T20 sides in the world. West Indies, please, two-time winners, just coasted through to a World Cup win. When was it? 4 years ago? Yeah,
Yeah.
5 years ago,
Five,
actually.
no, 5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, so and the like we spoke about it. I know this is about India in England, but the band's back together with the West Indies, so they're looking as mighty as ever. I know Darren Sammy kept saying throughout the 2016 World T20, oh, it's we are the underdogs. We are, it's David versus Goliath. And I remember just pulling him aside and said, "What are you saying? Like, who here thinks that you're David? Like, only you do. I know you don't either. So that's not going to work this time. Well, if nobody's talking about them, good for West Indies. I'm happy. So they can, march on to another World Cup win, maybe. I know, I'm sure India will have something to say about that. And so will England. But yes, and the most important factor is we still have one IPL season. A lot can change. New trends could come in. Maybe we'll have like spinners opening the bowling at both ends. Who knows? The IPL is going to turn things around. And definitely we'll end up talking about three, four new Indian names for sure. They'll, like, like with every IPL, Rahul Tewatia, nobody ever spoke about him till a year ago, but now he's in the Indian squad. He unfortunate to not get a game. So anything can happen during an IPL. And like spoke about Moeen Ali, he's going to play under the great MS Dhoni. Maybe he reinvents himself under MS Dhoni. Who knows? We'll get to see. So yes, it's a good sign that India have beaten England, but I don't know how much of a bearing it has on the World T20 because T20 World Cup because it's so long away, and there's an IPL. Watch out for that.
Yeah, see, you're showing your bias there by saying it's a good sign that India has beaten England. It depends on which side of the fence you fall on. Also, New Zealand is another side that I think would be really, really quite happy for everyone to just be talking about India and England. There's so much recency bias in that, and we see that a lot. You're right. IPL still to come. So much T20 cricket in there before. I think this is a really useful series for England in coming over there in those conditions, trying out things. They stuck with the same players a lot of the way through this as well. They've had the chance to see David Malan sort of come good in this last game, which is good for him. But it is still a long way off. So I don't know that we can read too much into this series on its own, other than just it be a good opportunity for sides to identify what may be weaknesses. And that's what I think India have done with looking at their opening batter situation. So that could be really significant for them. Our fifth delivery, the penultimate delivery of the over, ultimate competitor, put this one in there for you. Look, is a player that we watched a lot of in the nets for nearly all of the summer. Shardul Thakur took the highest number of wickets in this series, 3 wickets in the final game. And it's just been an incredible period for him as someone who's often seen, obviously more in red ball cricket, but often sort of a bit off the side. He's not the India bowler that everyone talks about in the same way that they do a lot of others in that bowling attack. But he's done himself no disservice in this series at all.
No, and he's rarely done any disservice to him every time he's played cricket. He's the kind of cricketer every captain wants because he'll just keep running in. He is a hardcore competitor. I remember when he burst onto the scene in Mumbai cricket. The only thing with him was he could bowl really good outswing, but he had weight issues. So what did he do? He shed a lot of weight, got very, very fit. And he's been the same guy. I mean, he has that take no prisoners attitude off the field and he brings that onto the field. Like we've seen him in the IPL as well. We saw him in that test match at the Gabba. He just runs in and he will be at the batsman's face over and over again. Like you can hit him for a six, but he's not going to give up. And you see how the way he celebrates each wicket, there's a lot of passion in there. And he gets wickets. He finds ways to get wickets. At times, he might get them off long hops. At times, he might get them off full tosses. But it doesn't really matter till the time you have a bowler who has a knack of taking wickets. And you spoke about him in the nets. Like he's the kind of guy who would tell Rohit Sharma, like, look, I've set 2 fielders at the back. I'm going to run it, bang it in at shot at you for half an hour or 45 minutes, and let's see if you can take me on. And he brings that same attitude into the middle. And yeah, at the moment, I think he's a shoe in that uh, India's number 1 bowling lineup. Bumrah, Bhuvi, Shami, so many names out there. T. Natarajan, our favorite. But it's going to be tough to take Shardul Thakur out. And he also has a strike rate of some 190 in
Yeah.
T20 cricket with the bat. He can hit some big sixes, ask Nathan Lyon.
Yeah, it does. I see Gautam again. See, look, this is worth staying up for this show. He said India's Chris Jordan minus the fielding. I bring that up because our final delivery of the over is, here it comes. Time to reward catch assists. I think we're going to disagree on this. Tell me what you think about if we should. Obviously, we saw that great combination of Chris Jordan in the outfield and Jason Roy completing the catch. But of course, it will not be recorded on the score sheet as Chris Jordan having anything to do with that catch. Time to change that?
No, and I'll tell you why. I mean, I've been a great wingman all my life. Like, you can ask my friends, people I don't even know that well, but I'm a great wingman. But does the wingman get to go on a date? No, right? There is a role for us, and we do it really well, like Chris Jordan did, like yesterday. Extraordinary effort, but at times it takes an extraordinary effort to get your friend a date. And like Jason Roy was so happy when the ball just popped into his hands, and that's what good wingmen do and wing women do. So I think it shouldn't change at all. It should stay corduroy. And Chris Jordan just gets a pat on the back and maybe gets a nice message later in the night from Jason Roy. That's all you need when you're a good wingman. That's where I am. All these people just reacting to small things. I don't know. I don't think there's a need for any change.
I disagree with you, obviously. Now, if you have introduced two people and they end up getting married, you know what? They'd end up acknowledging you in the wedding speeches. That's for starters. And also, do you know what? Hey, cricket is really bad at recording fielding stuff. Like, it's only in recent years that they've started even recording sub-fielders. In the past, we didn't even know, looking back at great games, it didn't record caught sub. It's a real deficit, a deficiency in the way cricket has recorded its games. Anyway, look, if we already have a precedent in that if someone's run out, then you credit the person who threw the ball as well as the person who actually committed the act of running out. So it already exists there. I don't think there's anything wrong with recording more rather than less. Is it going to hurt anyone? What is it going to hurt you, Bharat? Point. Here's the doll. Point at the doll where the fielder who assisted hurt you.
Okay, till the time no marriage invitation card where I have played the wingman has my name on it. I think let's stick to this rule. Like, getting an acknowledgement in wedding speeches doesn't count. People are too drunk; they don't even remember what gets said there. So the next time my name does appear, then I'll be okay with you. Maybe I'll agree with you, Mel. For now, it should stay the way it is.
Well, we're going to agree to disagree on that one because I think it doesn't hurt anyone at all to have that kind of fielding acknowledged, especially when it's the major part of the dismissal. In the same way, the major part of a run out is often the person who throws the ball in, runs in, gets hard. So that's what I say. What do you guys think? And look, excellent. Gautam says that we are hilarious. This is the shiz you stay up for. We're so glad you stayed up. We're so grateful to all of you for joining in. Please hang around. We'll have more during the rest of the White Ball series. So we'd love it if you could subscribe and keep coming back and keep sending us your thoughts. We appreciate all of you. And we'll see you soon. But for now, it's over and out.